Imagine this right now. You're about to pay for a purchase with your shiny, cool metal Apple credit card, but then you suddenly find out that the bank that is backing it has suddenly changed and now you're afraid to use it. Yes, I promise you, I'm not blowing smoke. This is exactly what is happening around you. Apple could be switching from Goldman Sachs to Chase Bank. And this is seriously going to shake up a lot of things and going to change your Apple credit usage moving forward. So what I want you to do right now is go grab your pen and paper. No, really, go grab your pen and paper because you really need to understand this information, because if not, you're gonna get left behind and serious things are gonna happen to your Apple credit card. And I don't want that to happen. So without further ado, let's dive in. Now, I know there's been a lot of rumbling. I know there's been a lot of behind the scenes information about the Apple credit card, and some things have been coming to pass, some things haven't, some things have been put on hold. But let me go ahead and break down everything of what is actively about to happen moving forward. Apple launched the Apple credit card back in 2019 with Goldman Sachs. It was super simple, no late fees, it was a cool design, who doesn't love a metal credit card, and it worked awesome with Apple Pay, hence being the name. But ladies and gents, here is the problem. Goldman wasn't really making any money off of this. And you're like, what does that have to do with me? It has a lot to do with you, all right? Because a lot of people with lower credit scores kept getting approved. Some scores under 660. And if you didn't know, 660 is considered subprime. If you don't know what subprime means, that means that you are a risky customer. A risky customer. There's a possibility that you possibly got approved with a 660 or a 670. And a lot of people think that a 660 or 670 is okay, but it's really not. If you're not really in that 700 sector, you're really straddling that line and you don't want to be there, okay? When it comes to subprime, these are like the Open Sky credit cards, the Merit Bank credit cards, the Credit One credit cards. They will approve anybody under that 600 range with no problem. And Goldman Sachs was really trying to not be in that sector, but ended up really just falling into it organically. So now having riskier customers landed a bigger problem, and the late payments started stacking up. And by this year, around 4 in every 100 Apple credit card balances are behind 30 days or more. So you might want to go check your credit report. And I did a little bit of digging. The national average for all credit cards is about 3 in every 100. So if it's every 4 in 100, it doesn't sound huge, but for banks, that is a very, very big deal. So now Apple is talking to Chase, the biggest credit card bank in America, to take this over. Hey, can you guys take my problem, because I can't seem to figure it out, but I know you guys can. So again, I know you're still wondering, what does that have to do with me? Here's the tricky part. Chase is super strict compared to Goldman Sachs. It's literally like night and day. They usually approve people with very high credit scores. Right now, 1/3 of Apple credit card users have a credit score under a 660. That's double the amount Chase is used to handling, okay? And keep this in mind, Apple doesn't charge late fees. Most banks love late fees because they make billions of dollars on them. And you know who else makes billions of dollars off of that? Chase. So now Chase has to figure out if they're going to keep the Apple no fee style or they're going to start changing the rules. And I'm going to be honest with you, in my opinion, I think they're going to change the rules because they didn't become the biggest bank in America for no reason, okay? They literally have a 524 rule, for God's sakes, on the personal side, meaning that if you've gotten approved for over 5 credit cards in the last 24 months, even if you have an 800 credit score, there's a 90% chance that you're still going to be denied because it looks like you're fishing for credit. So do you actively think that Chase is not going to do something about this? Chase literally, they don't like subprime users at all. I'm telling you right now. So now the question comes into play. What could Chase do if they take over? So let's go ahead and do a lot of hypotheticals. They might make it harder to get approved if your credit is low. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines, possibly thinking about it, you're probably too late, all right? They could be bringing back late fees or stricter payment rules, okay? Or they might just keep things the exact same for the current card holders, all right? Hey, you're grandfathered in, we're not gonna do anything, but for the new people that come in, they have to abide by these new rules. At the same time, Chase could use this to get more Apple users into their system. So imagine opening your Apple wallet and suddenly seeing the Chase icon offering you a mortgage or an investment account. So that, like I said, it could definitely help you, but for the people that are coming in, it can definitely hurt them. Or they might just group everybody together and just make it hard all the way around. So now, what does this mean for you? Okay, so if you already have the Apple credit card, your card suddenly won't vanish. That doesn't happen. Normally when car companies get, taken over, sometimes they really just give you a new card or they tell you you're fine. But you will start seeing a difference probably in your Apple Wallet. Your rewards, like the daily cash, should pretty much stay the same in my opinion. I think that's what they're gonna do for now. But the big difference might come later if Chase starts changing fees and approval rules. So what I need for you to do is keep an eye out for your terms and conditions, okay? And make sure that you're paying everything on time. All right, ladies and gents, on time. Because Chase plays a totally different game than Goldman Sachs. Because let's talk about the paying on time sector. For all of my people that don't understand, you have two dates that you need to pay attention to. Your due date, that's when you have to pay the Apple card, and then your statement closing date. A lot of people miss the second one, and I know I reiterate this a lot on this channel, but I'm gonna keep beating the dead horse until everybody understands. You have to understand these two dates and why they're so important. The due date is for the bank. The statement closing date is for your credit report, okay? So what I need you to do moving forward is you need to start telling Siri or Google to remind you every single month on whenever your due date is. And then you need to also tell it to remind you of your statement closing date. So let me give you a quick example. So let's just say right now you're looking at a calendar. You're looking at a calendar, you call Apple, and they told you, hey, your due date is on the 10th, okay? And then you ask, great, when is my statement closing date? So let's just say your statement closing date is the 14th of every month. So that means that your due date is when you make the payment, the statement closing date is when they're gonna report it. So what I need you to do is on the 10th, you pay it off, you don't use it again until the 15th. You give it time to report to the credit bureaus because you don't know in between that time frame when they're actively going to report. You don't know if they're going to report it on the 14th, the 13th, or the 12th. And I don't want you to use it again because a lot of you think, hey, I already paid it, I'm fine. So let's say your limit is $5,000. You spent $5,000 on it, and then you pay it off on the 10th. And then after that, on the 12th, you use $3,000 more dollars. So now that $3,000 is going to report to the credit bureaus if they didn't report it already. So then your credit score is going to tank. And now if Chase takes over, they're going to think that you're a subprime, and they could possibly hit you with a bunch of late fees and do any more damage to your credit report. And that's what you don't want. I'm telling you right now, Chase does not play that. I'm telling you right now, in case you're not in their ecosystem yet, okay? So what I need for you to do is make sure that you call the Apple company, find your due date, statement closing date, figure out how you can work around that, and make sure that you pay everything on time and don't use it until after the statement closing date. If you feel like some of those dates don't work for you because of certain things coming out of your, for bills or anything like that, then change your due date. And when you change your due date, it's going to change your statement closing date. Hey, I can't do it on the 10th. Do you mind changing it for the next month to the 21st of every month? All right, cool. And then your statement closing date is going to be the 25th of every month. All right. That's how you actively going to do it. And then you're going to tell Siri or whoever, whatever, phone company you have to remind you every single month. Okay. So that's all the information I want to give you as far as making sure that you're responsible. There's another way on how this can actively help you as well, because if Chase takes over, this means that you're going to automatically be in the Chase ecosystem. So that means that you're going to have those, pretty much that relationship with Chase. And then you can even go to Chase, try to open up a personal bank account, a personal savings account, start building even more internal data points, making sure you're paying everything on time with the Apple card, making sure that you keep money in that personal account. Now you can start getting the Freedom credit cards. Now you can start utilizing them for points. Now, because you use the Apple credit card the correct way, and your credit limit went from 5,000 to 10,000, then to 12,000, and then after that, you can try to apply for their Freedom card or the Chase Sapphire Preferred, but you do have to have a high credit score of above, I would say a 715, but just hear me out. After that, you can start utilizing all that information as far as getting high limits and then utilizing their point system to fly for free, then using hotels for free, and then just really just moving around in this United States or wherever in the world for free by using the point system. So this can definitely help you in the long run. So just by you being a responsible adult, using that Apple credit card correctly can put you in the ecosystem and pretty much rub elbows on the right side when it comes to Chase. And now you're pretty much moving up in that credit sector. And now you're going from being subprime to being a above credit issuer and credit user. You see where I'm going with this? So this is why it's all about changing your mindset and utilizing everything correctly so you won't have any issues moving forward. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. So again, just keep this in mind. Number one, Apple wants to move the card from Goldman Sachs to possibly Chase. So now that brings everything into number two, where again, Goldman was struggling to pretty much keep up with all of these late payments because everybody was falling behind. I understand, it was COVID. It was, high interest rates, inflation, all that, but Goldman can't keep up. So now they need somebody to pretty much take that burden off of them so they won't have to pay all those late fees. And that was what brings in Chase. And if Chase, pretty much takes over, that comes into number three. Expect stricter approvals and maybe even new fees associated moving forward. But if you utilize all the information that I gave you towards the endish, where I was saying paying everything on time, making sure that you pretty much stay in good graces, you will be fine. Now, if you already have negatives on your credit and maybe even late payments from buy now, pay laters or from the Apple credit card, and you're struggling to get approved for other credit cards, or you're just saying, hey, I don't want to run into any issues moving forward with Chase if they do take over this card, then don't worry, I got you, because this is why I built the How to Credit Start program, where it's designed to help all of you fix your bad credit, rebuild your credit profile the correct way so you can get access to the Chase Freedom, the Preferred, no matter what credit card, even Amex in the future, so you won't have any issues moving forward, because it's all about having the education and then the execution, and then execution comes to great credit. So what I want you to do is click the link below to sign up for a free consultation with me so we can get everything going and get you on the road to great credit. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I really hope this information helps you guys and really kind of shift your mindset on how you need to utilize the Apple credit card moving forward, just in case Chase takes over. Again, I want to thank you guys, and until next time, ladies and gents.